In the days right after the attack on the World Trade Center, many people wanted the Twin Towers to be rebuilt just as they were. But now there are second thoughts. Should there be skyscrapers, a park, or simply a memorial? What is a fitting tribute to those who died? To find some answers, I sat down with three world-famous authorities on architecture and with developer Donald Trump, who has erected some of New York's tallest and most famous buildings. See if you share their vision.
But every time I flew back to Manhattan from some other place, I would see those towers and I would think, I'm so excited about coming to New York.
The World Trade Center was never considered great architecture until September 11th. You know, something happened that made all of a sudden everybody weep over the World Trade Center.
When I went home and talked to our daughter about it, she said, "Mom, that's the power of America. I know you don't like these buildings as pieces of architecture, but to me, it is New York and America that is now deeply wounded."
Meet architect Marilyn Taylor, who has, among other projects, designed Terminal 4 at JFK Airport and the redevelopment of New York's Penn Station. Richard Meyer, the architect who built the world-renowned Getty Museum and Center in Los Angeles. Donald Trump, who needs no introduction, and Terence Riley, the curator of architecture at New York City's Museum of Modern Art. Why do you think that the World Trade Center was the target?
I think that they somehow, because they were so much bigger and in a sense stronger than anything else, were an obvious target.
There's the New York that New Yorkers experience every day, and sometimes we're surprised to find out how different tourists' view of New York is. And it was only after this disaster happened that I realized if you go to a souvenir shop, that's the preferred image. It was more known almost by the rest of the world as the symbol of New York than we ourselves ever felt it was.
I'm told that they were the most photographed buildings in New York, partly because it was almost impossible to take a panoramic photograph without them.
I think that the World Trade Center represented something very, very special. It represented freedom. It represented power and majesty, and it really became a target. One of the things that I feel we have to do is build our buildings stronger so that they can withstand attack if necessary.
Is it possible to build an indestructible building?
It's possible to build an indestructible building. I don't think it's possible to build an indestructible skyscraper.
I think that it is possible with our structural engineers, but no one would want to be in it. If you couldn't see out, if you couldn't freely come and go, I don't think you would want to be there.
But I do think you can build a building, a great building, a lot tougher than the World Trade Center turned out to be.
Different materials?
Different materials. As an example, better fireproofing methods, more concrete. Concrete doesn't burn to the same extent, obviously, as steel. And you can blame heat, you can blame whatever you want to do, but we can build a lot tougher buildings than that frankly are more beautiful than the World Trade Center.
So what should the new site be? Most people would be surprised to know that the World Trade Center complex was 14 acres, the size of 10 football fields. What do you do with that much space?
Well, I think that it's a city within a city. An analogy as a place could be Rockefeller Center. It's a place for the residents of the city, it's a place for tourists, it's a place of shopping and all kinds of activities. But it's also related to what's around it. And I think that's a very important point.
When we talk about city within a city, I think it is an extroverted city. Everyone goes to be together, to shop, to contemplate art, and then to disappear into the floors above, whether they're office or residential. That's the key to success.
Should it have spiritual overtones?
I absolutely think that everyone who was a victim has to somehow be remembered. This is not going to be something on a corner. This is not going to be something in a lobby. This memorial has to also be a place where all New Yorkers can go to share this kind of a tragedy.
At present, most people you talk to believe the names should be there. And I think that it's important that we find the right place and the right way, not a name on a brick, but rather a very dignified way to include those names.
There could be an open space in which the names of those people who died are a part of it. There could be an exhibition space where a lot of the activities that have been taken place since the tragedy, all the children's drawings are somehow kept and seen. The more things that can happen there, the more life it will have, and the more people will take part in it.
It has been only 3 weeks since the terrorists destroyed the Twin Towers, but already architects and builders are beginning to talk about a new World Trade Center. Will they be able to rebuild without the kind of squabbling and controversy that has arisen in recent years around some of the other national monuments and memorials?
I hope that the New York community, which is a tough place and has a lot of good, smart, tough minds, is going to be able to come together and get something truly magnificent, truly inspirational done, as opposed to arguing for the next 10 years as to what should happen.
I've never seen anything like it. The development community, the business community, the small business community, the designers, the civic organizations share the notion that it's an opportunity to make a great vision for Lower Manhattan. And if we can put those principles in place, then we have a chance.
It's about doing down there what was done before, a living memorial in a certain sense to everyone who died in a tremendous way, and hopefully even a better way.
You absolutely have to rebuild something as substantial as before, and that can be done. Otherwise, really, Barbara, the terrorists have won.
If you have an idea for the World Trade Center site that you would like to share, log on to abcnews.com. That's our program for tonight. We thank you for joining us. I'm Barbara Walters. I'll see you all tomorrow on The View. And for all of us at 2020, good night.
This has been a presentation